Somewhere in Abuja, Nigeria, on the night of June 7th, 2005, a young man managed to dial his family's number. He told them what had just happened. It was the last time they ever heard his voice. 6 young traders in one night out, a police officer whose ego has just been bruised, and a decision that would turn a routine checkpoint into a killing field. This is the story of the Apo 6. Executed by those sworn to protect. The night of June 7th, they were ordinary people, spare parts dealers walking out of the Apo Auto Market in Abuja, which was Nigeria's capital city, a place that was supposed to represent the best of the country, order, opportunity, and the law. Their names were Ifeanyi Ozo, Chinedu Meniru, Anthony Nwokike, Paulinus Ogbonna, Ekene Isaac Ngbe, and the only woman in the group, Arebu Augustina. They were 6 friends. They had gone to a nightclub that evening to unwind after a long week. Normal people doing their normal thing. Also at the same nightclub that night was a man called Danjuma Ibrahim, a deputy commissioner of police. Ibrahim reportedly made advances towards Augustina. She turned him down. That rejection, according to investigators and testimony, is what set everything in motion. Ibrahim left the club before the group, and when he did, he allegedly contacted police officers manning a checkpoint in Gambia Street. He told them there was a gang of armed robbers in the area. He described their vehicle. It was a Peugeot Saloon, the same car the 6 friends were driving home in. Then, the Peugeot rode up to the checkpoint. The officers opened fire. 4 of the 6 died on the spot. What happened next? Ifeanyi Ozo didn't die immediately. Neither did Augustina. From the scene, bleeding, shot, Ifeanyi managed to call his family. He told them what had happened, where he was. The police officer heard him make that call, and instead of taking the 2 survivors to a hospital, which was their legal obligation, they took them to a police station where they kept them until they died. The officers then buried all 6 bodies in 2 shallow graves in Utako area of Abuja. Their final act was to plant guns on the victims' bodies and to call in a police photographer. The story they planned to tell the world was very simple. These were armed robbers who engaged them in a gun battle, and they won. Nobody was supposed to find out the truth. The cover starts to crack, but the truth has a way of surfacing, especially when the people being buried had families who refused to be silent. The killings triggered public outrage across Nigeria. The case was simply too brazen to ignore. 6 traders shot dead in the capital city, buried in shallow graves by the very people meant to protect them. President Olusegun Obasanjo responded to the pressure. A judicial panel of inquiry was established. The bodies were exhumed. Autopsies were performed. The results demolished the police versions of events. The victims had been shot at close range, not at a distance in a gun battle. At close range, the guns planted on their bodies, evidence confirmed they had been placed after their death. Then came the photographer. Under questioning, the police photographer who had taken the staged crime scene photos handed everything over to the panel. The entire fabrication was on record. The panel named 6 officers responsible: Danjuma Ibrahim, Othman Abdusalami, Nicolas Zakaria, Ezekiel Acheneje, Baba Emmanuel, and Sadiq Salami. It seemed finally like justice was within reach. Then one of the officers who had agreed to testify against them, a man named Anthony Edem, died suddenly, unexpectedly. An autopsy from the National Hospital Abuja confirmed the cause of death: poisoning. A trial and a verdict that shocked the country. A 9-count criminal charge was filed: conspiracy and culpable homicide against the 6 officers. The families waited. Years passed. The case dragged. Witnesses testified. Documents were submitted. Elvis Ozo, younger brother of Ifeanyi, attended hearing after hearing. He watched other families slowly give up. He didn't. The matter dragged on for a long time, that some family members of others killed during the incident were giving up already. But I stood, Elvis told investigators, because I wanted justice served. 12 years after the murders, in May 2017, the judge delivered his verdict. Of the 6 accused officers, 2, Ezekiel Acheneje and Baba Emmanuel, were sentenced to death. The other 3 were discharged, and Danjuma Ibrahim, the man whose alleged false tip set the entire massacre in motion, was acquitted. The judge cited contradictions in witness testimony. He noted that Ibrahim's fingerprints had not been taken at the time of his arrest, a procedural gap after 12 years. the reward for murder. What happened next is the part of this story that is almost impossible to comprehend. After his acquittal, Danjuma Ibrahim was not quietly retired. He was not pushed aside. He was reinstated into the Nigeria Police Force and promoted, first to Commissioner of Police, then in December 2018 to Assistant Inspector General of Police, the third highest rank in the entire force. He received his new rank insignia in a formal ceremony decorated by the Inspector General himself. The salary he had not been paid during his suspension, all 12 years of it, was paid in arrears. Elvis also watched all of this happen. After all the facts from the panel of inquiry indicting the same man, he said, at the end of the day, justice was not delivered, and as if that is not enough, this man was reinstated and even promoted to AIG. It shows there is nothing like one Nigeria. The family 17 years on. 17 years after the killings, Elvis also still drives a Peugeot. Every morning he gets in the same make of car his brother was riding in when the bullets came. He remembers. His mother has not been the same since. She cries when she sees Elvis because he looks exactly like Ifeanyi, so he stopped going home. He couldn't finish his university education. Ifeanyi was his sponsor. In the years after, some of the youth in Apo came to Elvis. They wanted revenge. They asked for his blessing to act. He told them no. I want God to take charge, he said. Instead, he's planning a non-profit to support victims of police brutality and to carry forward something Ifeanyi always told him: we must give back to society. The families went back to court in 2021 to the panel reviewing abuses by the disbanded SARS units. They asked for the 500,000 in burial costs that was awarded after the original inquiry but never paid. It was eventually handed over nearly 2 decades late. The Attorney General of the Federation, who alone has the power to appeal the 2007 acquittal, has not done so as of the last report filed on the case. They did not respond to the media inquiries. 6 people went out for a night with their friends. They were murdered by the officers of the state at the checkpoint. Their crime scene was staged, their bodies was buried in shallow graves, and a witness who tried to tell the truth was poisoned. The man alleged to have ordered it rose through the ranks and became one of the highest ranking police officers in Nigeria, and the families who lost everything are still waiting. In 2005, in Nigeria, 6 innocent people were executed. In Nigeria in 2017, a court let most of the men responsible walk free. In 2018, one of those men was promoted. The names of the victims, Ifeanyi Ozo, Chinedu Meniru, Anthony Nwokike, Paulinus Ogbonna, Ekene Isaac Ngbe, and Arebu Augustina, say their names. This script was sourced from the reporting by Adejumo Kabil, Home Angle Media.